Hi everyone, this is Douglas at PCC. PCC 9.4 comes to your practice in the third quarter of 2022. This video is an overview of the new and improved features. PCC 9.4 includes major improvements to how you work with payments, particularly personal payments. When you post a personal payment in PCC EHR, you can specify exactly which charges the payment will apply towards. Right in the patient's chart, in the billing history for each encounter, you now have an easy-to-read, detailed record of all payments and adjustments, both insurance and personal, for each charge. And you can see full details about the payments posted during the encounter, too. You can also open the Payments tool and review any account's full payment history and see what each payment applies towards. And right in PCC EHR, in the payment history for an account, you can double-click on any personal payment and edit it, fix problems, correct any mistakes for that personal payment. You can change what it applies towards, fix the amount, the payment type, or the transaction date, or delete it, of course. Another great new feature for the front desk and billers, you can now select any payments from an account's history and print a detailed receipt, which shows info about the payments and what charges the payments apply towards. What else do we update, particularly for billers in PCC 9.4? If your practice needs to prevent some claims from going out, you can now create a customizable claim hold for any dates of service, any providers, locations, or insurance plans that you need to hold back claims for. Oh, and we improved how policies appear in PCC EHR when they aren't active yet. It's now easier to understand when a policy will become active later. PCC 9.4 includes many other improvements for billing and collections. You can read about all of these features and more on learn.pcc.com. 9.4 includes major new features for PCC EHR's new Forms tool, which is in early access for any interested PCC practice. If your practice implements PCC 9.4's new Forms tool, then right in PCC EHR, you can create forms that your practice needs with variables that are automatically filled out with patient account and encounter information. You can manage your practice's many forms yourself, for example, rearranging their order, changing the form name, deactivating a form that's not ready yet or is deprecated, and previewing a form right in the tool. And all of this works with standard forms as well as PDF-style forms. And when you generate a form for a family, you can quickly pick the encounter for forms that include visit-based information, pick the provider, and you can answer those questions on forms more quickly and with more detail. As I mentioned, PCC EHR's new Forms tool and enhancements are in early access. Your practice might have needs that are not yet implemented, so you can opt to stick with your current forms, or you may be ready to dive in. Read the additional documentation on learn.pcc.com to find out, and get in touch with PCC support with any questions. Next, PCC 9.4 includes a long list of improvements to our various communication tools, like the Patient Portal, pocketPCC, and more. Families can now pop open the Patient Portal, sign a privacy policy document or a payment agreement or some other document for your practice by touching a button and then send the signed agreement to you. It will come into PCC EHR like any other portal message with an indication of who signed it and when. You know how people just tend to reply to an old message thread with a totally new, different question? You can now configure a timeout on old Patient Portal message threads, so mom or dad will start a new conversation instead and not confuse your clinicians with the subject of the last question. Of course, your practice can set that timeout length, and you can override it if you actually need to reply to an old thread. Two great new customization features for portal message templates. These templates are how you configure the portal messages that families can send you. First, there's a new subject component that you can add to any portal message template, which will then appear right in the messaging queue in PCC EHR. It makes it much easier to triage portal messages. And you can now customize or deactivate the default other portal message template. You can remove it, make changes to it, make it work better for your purposes. Do you need to see a patient's CHADIS screening results in pocketPCC? You can do that in PCC 9.4. You can tell at a glance in pocketPCC when an appointment was missed or canceled. And PCC 9.4 makes all of pocketPCC's screens a bit easier to navigate with new titles. One last big communication update. Your practice does not want to be mistaken for a spam bot. PCC 9.4 includes a whole bunch of improvements all over the software so that you can continue to both respect when a family has unsubscribed or opted out of receiving messages by text or email, and so you can more easily help them opt in, resubscribe, and begin to receive messages again when they want to. Rounding out this quick summary of PCC 9.4's most notable improvements, go check out your practice's COVID-19 vaccination rates in the Practice Vitals dashboard. You can now configure exactly how patient names will appear on a custom report in the report library. This is important for certain kinds of reports that you need to export with first, middle, last, or similar. PCC rolls out some software improvements in between major PCC EHR releases, and that includes the April 2022 PCC ERX update. There were lots of great improvements and bug fixes in that update. You can read more about them online. One of them was better options for fielding change requests. Finally, I'll mention that PCC updates your practice's system with support for COVID-19 vaccines all the time. Independent of a software release, PCC has patched your system 7 times in 2022 so far for COVID vaccine-related updates. That's things like CVX codes, EUA fact sheet titles, claim validation for new billing codes, NDC codes. Of course, insurance payers may take their time to properly acknowledge new COVID-19 vaccines and recommendations. That's a problem. But your PCC system is ready, so you can configure the procedures, enter lots when vaccines come in, and order, administer, and bill for COVID-19 vaccines. Contact PCC support for any help you need. And that goes for everything you've seen in this video or anything your pediatric practice is working on right now. Give us a call, send us an email. And we have a few new demonstration videos that are actually on this video list. They'll play right after this video. Thank you for watching.